I can't believe it, but another Monday is here. Welcome to the Monday Minute. My name is Rita Ernst. I am the author of Show Up Positive. And what I want to talk about today is stretching. So every Monday, I come to you with a new hashtag show up positive word to inspire you to bring more positivity into your work life and into the culture around you, the workplace that you are building every day by the way that you show up, your behaviors, your attitudes. They all completely come together to create the experience that you are having at work. You're a contributor to that. And I want to help you make it as positive as possible. And so today, we're going to talk about stretching. So I'm not going to demonstrate this, but I'm going to invite you as you are listening and watching this to stand up really tall. So get up out of your chair, stand up really tall, and then I want you to bend down, reach down, try to keep your knees straight and see if you can touch your toes. So we're stretching our body, and I want you, as you're reaching down to stretch your toward your toes, I want you to notice where you feel all of that stretch in your body and what that feels like. Now, some of you may be very limber. You might be a regular stretcher already, and so it's very easy for you. You'll be able to get your palms flat on the floor right next to your feet, and you'll be among the most stretchy limber people, at least in this position amongst us. Others of you may be really struggling to get your fingertips even down toward the very tops of your feet, let alone to the floor next to you. And that's because you have very tight leg muscles. And I bet you're feeling this up through the back of your thighs as you're stretching. You're feeling that tension in the back of your thighs. And the reason for that is that those muscles are so tight. That's part of what's keeping you from being able to stretch as deeply as you want to. And if you've already come up out of your stretch, because it's hard to hold that and to stay in that in the pain of that stretch, we often want to alleviate that. We don't want to sit in that uncomfortableness for too long. So if you've already released yourself from that uncomfortableness, I invite you to again repeat your stretch down toward your toes. And this time, as you hit the end of your normal reach, what I want you to do is think about pulling your belly button, using your abdominal muscles and pulling your belly button all the way back so it touches your spine, and see if you get just a little bit deeper into that stretch. So pull your belly button all the way back into your spine using those abdominal muscles and see if you just get a little bit more stretch. So, this is what we want to do professionally as well. Thank you for indulging me. Release yourself from the stretch whenever you are ready. What I want you to notice about stretching is that stretching is by nature supposed to make you uncomfortable, right? You're trying to release those muscles in the back of your legs as you are reaching down. That's where you need to release the tension and to feel that stretch, right? In your hamstring muscles and in your glutes maybe. And so it's important to recognize that as you are stretching yourself professionally, it will feel uncomfortable and it will also take time. And sometimes you have a reason that you stop stretching and you sort of have some recidivism in those muscles. They're not as loose and limber as they used to be, but you can get it back pretty quickly if you just keep practicing it and practicing it intentionally and regularly. Well, we have to do the same thing in our professional lives. In order to grow and to strengthen, we need to stretch ourselves. We need to feel uncomfortable and we need to be willing to sit in that discomfort for a little, taking small breaks to alleviate it in order for us to really get the sustainable growth that we are looking for. And the other thing that I want you to notice about the stretching that we did is when I told you to really concentrate on your belly button and pulling that back to the spine, I'm sure you saw a small modicum of progress in your reach towards the floor. And so there are also tips along the way that we can take in that can help us with our reach, with our growth and our development. So here's the tip I want to give you this week in stretching. I want you to replace the floor with the idea of stretching toward your coworkers around you. If you were really reaching, stretching toward them, you would feel a little bit of discomfort. So you don't get to stay in a place of comfort all the time. You're going to feel a little discomfort. You are going to practice some things that maybe you're not as good at practicing have gotten out of the habit of. You might have to be open to something that is different than you're thinking, for example, when you're stretching toward that person. So you're really reaching for them, and that means you are willing to take on some of the discomfort so that together you can achieve something. You can get more connected, you can strengthen and grow in your collaboration. So we have to stretch to get really good collaboration initially, but eventually, just like reaching the, I promise you, if you put yourself on a practice for 30, 60 days where every day you worked a little bit more on stretching and reaching for the floor and stretching out your muscles. And by the way, like I just asked you to stretch cold, which is never a really good idea, especially to hold it for any long period of time. Your muscles stretch better when they are warmed up. It's the same way in collaboration, right? You got to build some relationship, you got to warm it up. And then when you stretch, it feels easier. And so that's what we want to do. We want to work on, last week we worked on receiving. This week we're going to work on reaching out, connecting, and stretching towards our coworkers to increase our collaboration, our ability to create together through our sheer willingness. And so here's a great practice for you. If you're like me, and I used to teach gymnastics to little kids, so I was a little more flexible then than I am in my current state. Every day, why don't you do your walk or brisk walk in the morning or whatever, and then just take a couple of minutes to do a deep stretch, sitting or standing, trying to take your fingertips and your palms toward the floor or past your toes if you're sitting and reaching in front of you, not bending your knees, keeping your legs nice and tight. And as you are doing that reaching physically, mentally, I want you to visualize yourself reaching towards somebody in the workplace. And if you want to do warm up, right? Work on first reaching toward people that you already have strong relationship with, that you already tend to agree with and connect with well. But what we want to do is not just stay in that warmed up area. Then we want to, as we build our skills and our capacity, we want to work on reaching toward other people where it is more of a stretch, where we feel more of that tension, and we work on releasing that tension by reaching and getting more connected so that we can collaborate better. So that's my idea for the week. Our Monday Minute, let's work on stretching ourselves and stretching into our relationships to make them stronger so that together we become a more effective team. I hope you love this idea. Be sure to hit me up in the comments and let me know your thoughts. Good luck this week as you practice stretching. I'm going to be practicing stretching too. And I will see you back here next Monday at 11:45. Have a fantastic week. Bye.